Welcome to step 2 of the hand shape building for SketchUp. We had just done the palm and the fingers, but now I'm actually going to make this look like a hand. So the first thing I actually need to do is I need to work on these fingers because nobody really has fingers that are all the same length. I'm going to go ahead and click my selector tool, and I'm going to click on just the arc of my ring finger. Now you can see that it's highlighted in blue, which means that's all I have selected. That's all I want selected. I'm going to go up to my move tool, and I'm going to make sure that I click on this actual arc, and I'm going to pull it up so it's a little bit longer than my pinky. So I got my pinky and my ring finger here. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the next finger. I'm going to, oops, sorry about that. Control Z, always fixes everything. I'm going to go ahead and select the next finger's arch. I'm going to go ahead and click that move tool again and pull this one up a little bit longer than my ring finger. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the index finger. So I click on that arch, click on the move tool, and pull it up just a little bit. So you don't want your index finger and your ring finger to be the same size. You want the index finger to be a little bit shorter. Now this hand needs a thumb, so that's our next step. I'm actually going to use the line tool for this part, and I'm going to see probably about a little less than halfway down, I'll go ahead and start drawing my thumb. So I'm going to go ahead and click, and I'm going to use my line tool and just make a line. I'm going to go ahead and see what looks good. So if you look at your own hand, that kind of gives you a good idea of how long you need to make your thumb. I'm going to click that line there so I have a solid line. Now I'm going to make a short stumpy tip to my thumb. So I'm going to click on that point and then pull it over a little bit. And then I'm going to click again and pull the thumb straight down. Alright, so clearly I need to have a rounded thumb, just like the fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and do this semicircle. So I'm going to do end point, and then pull it up so it says half circle, and that's my thumb. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, if you take a look at your hand, you actually have something that's called a web. And these webs are in between each finger, and they're kind of like a small semicircle in between your fingers only. So I'm going to work on that part right now. Now this part's a little bit tricky because you're going to be drawing arcs that have to be completely straight across. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So I'm going to pick a point that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and click. One second, sorry about that. Let's move this over and zoom in. Alright, so this looks good, midpoint. And then here, and then I actually want to pull my semicircle down. So it doesn't have to be a half circle, it can just be right there. And I'm also going to do that here. So, but they need to be exactly straight across, just like you see. And it's going to actually try, which mine just did, it's going to try and, it's going to try and fight with you and pull your semicircle up. You really want to pull that semicircle down. You don't want to have weird webs. So you're going to click, and then pull it down. And then click, and then pull it down. So my version in particular, for some unknown reason, is really fighting with me. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this up a little bit because it's kind of messed up and I don't like it, which is fine. Mistakes are okay. There we go. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all the lines I don't need. So you have to be careful with this part because you actually do want to keep this part filled in. So I'm going to click anything that's closing off a finger, So your fingers need to be straight down. Any lines that might look weird. I also want to delete this line here. So if you click this line here, that actually takes out that piece and it looks a lot better as far as your finger webs go. Oh, and I totally did that wrong. Sorry about that. That line. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these other lines on my thumb. And I'm going to get a better look. And that is my hand. Next step is going to be how to make this hand into a house.